Bam, we're live. I got triggered.
Oh.
What now?
You're supposed to say you never get triggered. What are you talking about? You're all high and
Never.
mighty. Never. I was just coming in here, and my wife. It's like she's psychic. It's 7 a.m. here, and so I'm coming in here, and she's like, "Everything good?" I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck you mean everything inside?" I'm like, "What the fuck you mean everything's good? Of course everything's good." You know, oh, so what do you? But I answer like this. Oh, what do you mean, sweetheart? She goes, "Well, are you tired?" And like, I didn't sleep worth shit last night. I'm fucking exhausted.
You're just so excited to have me on today.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fucking fired up the fucking back. I just lie. I'm triggered. I just lie. Jake, what's up, man?
What's going on, Savannah?
Where are you?
I am in Mays Landing, New Jersey at RDT Fitness in the owner's office right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Is that new electronics someone got behind you sitting in that box? Is that like headphones or something?
It's one of those vertical mouses.
No.
Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
You have to talk to him about that. I have no clue.
Oh, I'm a sucker for like electronic boxes.
You're a sucker for all boxes. So.
I am a sucker for all boxes. You want to know what happened, though? What's funny about my addiction to boxes of all sorts? When I had kids, I used to get so excited when mail would come for me. And then I had kids, and like it didn't even matter. It could be a brand new camera came in the mail, and it would just sit there on the counter for like days. I was like, wow, my kids have become my number one like favorite thing. You don't have kids, right?
No kids for me.
But you love kids.
I have a new puppy. I do love kids.
You did get a new puppy.
I did.
Are we gonna just start seeing a ton of puppy videos?
You're gonna see a couple here and there. I'm a little obsessed. I can't lie. He's my little buddy. So, you know how it's amazing how a little puppy can turn like a grown man into like a little bitch. He has done so completely, and kind of like I guess that's how your kids kind of had that effect on you pretty good. So.
Before we had my wife and I we had 3 Great Danes, and then they eventually all died, and then we went a year without a dog, and then we got this little Chihuahua Basenji mix like a year later from the shelter, and it was ridiculous. I knew that we needed to have kids because my wife and I would like feed him a cracker and then hold each other and be like, "Oh my god, he's so cute the way he eats that cracker! Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh, something's wrong with us."
It's 100% the truth. Anything he does now, I get like. I start texting my parents, like, guess what I taught my dog to do today? And,
Jake went from 386 to 212.
Yeah, so like the highest I ever saw on the scale was 416. But when I started this journey, 386 was when I stepped on the scale for this journey, and my lowest I got to was 208, and now I hover anywhere between 235 to 240.
So I'll do the math very quickly in my head. Your biggest weight swing was 208 pounds.
Yes, sir. I lost a human.
Did you do that on purpose? Exactly fit half?
No, I never even thought about that. No. I never thought about it. Yeah, I did lose half myself, I guess, at one point.
Yeah, you cut yourself in half. There's this whole generation out there. How old are you?
I just turned 30.
Yeah, there's this whole I was like, what the fuck's going on with the audios? Because I don't have my headphones on. There's this whole generation out there that will put on so much weight that they change their body in such a way that it's forever.
Yeah, it's happened. I did it. I 100% did it. And
go on.
I think a lot of the issue is, and what you talk about is just a lack of knowledge of what the hell's going on. But yeah, continue with the skin. I know that's what you're getting at with the extra skin. And I've never been the one to like hide it. If you're on my Instagram now, you'll see I've talked about it multiple times. Till to this day, I'm very self-conscious about it. Going to the beach, a lot of times, like I'm with my friends, my girlfriend, and everyone down there. Like, you can take off your shirt, Jake. Like, you're in shape now. And I'm still like, well, I always like, from my perspective, was like, no one wants to see some dude's extra skin, but like, I know those are the ones that love me and they're telling me to take the shirt off. But yeah, to this day, it messes with my mind. And I had no idea you're doing it in the process. You know, it's.
I don't think you ever. I mean, don't let me argue your limitations. I don't think you ever get over it. Because I hate taking my shirt off too. I hate it. I cannot. I look at everyone's body around me, and I'm like, man, everyone has a nicer body than me, and I'm still chubby, and I still have rolls, but I fake it now because I have kids. I like fucking just like I run down there and just rip my shirt off. And then like, I'm trying to hide every insecurity I can, cause I don't want them to like mirror it.
Yeah.
Without being overcompensating. And I do a shot in the car before I get to the beach.
That definitely, the liquid courage definitely helps me too.
I seriously, but I'm not joking about that. I'll have like, I'll get down to the beach and I'll have like a beer or two and then be like, okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
100% get it.
Have you ever thought about the extra skin actually being an inspiration for some that see you?
Yeah, and then that's the plus side about it, Matt, is that I hear all these people that they see it and like, Jake, thank you for putting this out there, because for me, this is a struggle of mine. And for me, about my journey, and I figured real early on that I wanted to be completely open about what I was going through, because I feel like there's not enough of that out there. Like you see it once in a while on like TV shows, Biggest Loser and stuff like that. But when do you see an everyday person, you know, go through these struggles? And that's all I am, is just an everyday person who finally one day had enough, and I decided to make a change. And I think so many people are scared to make that change, and they see it like, if they follow my journey, they've seen that like, yeah, there's been ups and downs, there's been everything in between. But if you can see the happiness I have now compared to back then when I was faking it and trying to prove to everyone I was happy, and now it's just a genuine happiness, that's where I want people to get out of this, because I know how I felt when I was overweight and depressed and sad every single day when I would look in the mirror. And I want people to know that like, you don't have to live like that anymore. And it's not a crazy like secret. You guys talk about every day. Don't eat sugar. Don't eat refined carbs. Simple things. I mean, so when I started this journey, the first thing I said to myself. So I don't know if you know my whole story.
I don't know. I don't know shit. I'm really excited to hear it though.
So, like, disclaimer to everyone out there, because this is good. I'm sure let's get some people like, oh, he did it the easy way. I did have the gastric sleeve surgery. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, they cut out a portion of your stomach. But it's not permanent. This stomach can eventually come back to normal. And I would say now, after 3 years, I'm pretty much back to normal, so I can eat whatever and however I like. But before that even started, so you have to go through a whole insurance process with this to get it insured for process, and it's a 6 months process. So with that process, all I did for the first 6 months, they said you can't gain any weight. For insurance to approve this, you just can't gain any weight, Jake. So that 386 comes from the first time I went into the doctor's office, got onto the scale, and they said, okay, Jake, you're 386. For the next 6 months, we're going to evaluate you, see if you're eligible. Number one thing you can't do is you can't gain weight. So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go through this whole process. I'm just going to make minor changes. I should be all right. Sevan, I stopped drinking soda and Gatorade. That's all I did. And in those 6 months, I lost 46 pounds.
Holy shit. What did you replace it with? Water?
Yeah, water pretty much, or Gatorade Zero.
Okay.
Those are my two go-tos. Every time I would go to the doctor's office every month, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? I'm like starting to think I'm sick, because I'm telling you, I did not change anything about my eating. It was purely, I cut out sugar drinks.
That's about so you were losing 7 pounds a month by But by the way, we were just talking about this on the show last night. Most people think that they need to add something to themselves to be healthy. If you think that, and I mean about anything, you are 99.999% wrong. If you're putting zit medication on to get rid of your zits, you're wrong. If you're taking an injection to make yourself stronger, healthier, you're wrong. 99.9% of the time, if you're adding something, that's the red flag that you're going the wrong way to make yourself a better person. Like throw away that big old box of shit that you've been saving. You're a better person. Not save more shit.
No, you're
oh my God. You don't need to take probiotics until you're done cutting out all the sugar out of your diet first. Then start taking probiotics. Okay, sorry. I get on my horse. Okay, that's amazing. That's great. I wonder, was it like 7 pounds a month, or was like the first month like 20 pounds? Do you remember?
I honestly don't remember. I
wonder how long you could have kept that up. I want to say
the first month was a bigger jump, because I remember like the last month I had only lost like another 3 pounds, I think, going into the surgery. So that last check-in, I was like, I lost another 3 pounds.
I'm really biased. I really hate the surgery.
I don't blame you. I mean, I understand.
I'm not hating either. I'm so glad you did it, but I'm so biased. Go on.
So knowing what I know now, and what I've learned through CrossFit and working with nutrition, do I think I could go back without the surgery and do exactly what I did? Yes. Now I 100%. But Sevan, the problem is there's so many people out there that can't get past that first week or first 2 weeks of a diet. And what this surgery does is kind of forces you to get through that first month, what that first month did.
What do you mean by force? What's
that?
What do you mean by force? Because you just aren't hungry, so you get
that.
Yeah,
so like for the first month, for the first 2 weeks you come off that, you're on a completely liquid diet. So right then and there, you can have like Gatorade Zero and chicken broth for 2 weeks. So right there, you're going to lose, I think I lost almost 30 pounds in the first 2 weeks. Not saying that's healthy or great, knowing what I know now, but what it did was like, it sparked that in me, like, holy shit, let's go. Like, this is cool. I like seeing that. This is the first time in how long I've been under 350. So let's get this rolling. Then the goal was, okay, you get to go under 300. And
Jake, let me ask you a question real quick. Do you just do that the first 2 weeks because you're not actually hungry, or do you do that because it's the rules, or some combination of, like, what does the actual surgery do? Does it make it so you're not hungry?
Like, mentally I was hungry, but like physically you can't. And like, yeah, it's the rules. They tell you like there's plenty of people out there you read about that go and start eating again, because they say that you can, if you eat, bigger foods, you can rupture, I guess, the staples that are back on your stomach and stuff like that. That's why they tell you to keep away for the first 2 weeks.
So it's a 3-part thing. 1, you're not as hungry because you just had the surgery and they did something to your stomach. 2, you're super motivated because you've already gone through the 6 months and then had the surgery. And 3, you're scared to fucking death you'll fuck something up and pop out a suture. Exactly. And I'm going to ask you a question. People are going to think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. No. Did you ever think about like just doing meth for a month? Like, get on fucking drugs and like
I thought about any fucking way possible to lose weight. So like,
yeah,
I like wanted it so bad for so long, but it was just like, and I would start like here and there doing diets and lose 30, 40 pounds, or not even. I don't think I'd ever lost that much. I'm lying. So probably like 20 pounds, but still, like, I would only last 2 weeks, and then, any excuse to like fall off the bandwagon, get off the horse, like, I would take. And this the surgery kind of forced me that I couldn't get off the horse. You're strapped into that damn horse, whether you like it or not.
I know what you mean by think of anything, because I don't do it so much anymore, but there were times in my life where I would be like, okay, I need to lose 10 pounds. And I would seriously come up with, I wouldn't actually do these things, but I'd come up with harebrained ideas. Okay, I'm just going to walk for 3 days. I would hear that thought come in my brain, and I'd be like, okay, that's a viable option. I'll start walking on Friday, and I'll walk till Sunday, and I would just drink water. You know what I mean? Just like I would hear that idea to lose 10 pounds.
it's such a good idea in your head, and just the next morning you wake up and you're like, fuck
fuck
Love
that. Yes.
like give me a cheeseburger. Shit.
I mean, still to this, so I fast. Every Saturday night I go to bed. I stop eating. I don't eat again till Monday morning. But recently, you're too young. Recently, I tried to do some intermittent fasting also. So like to stop eating at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it. I fucking failed. I mean, I'll try again, but I failed. I was like, next thing I know, I'm fucking eating at 10 o'clock at night, just like a whole cantaloupe.
And isn't it crazy? Like everything you know about nutrition, all this stuff, we still try this crazy shit just because we're mentally so fucked with our. Yes. I know I am, but like I can openly admit that and talk to my nutritionist about it and tell him when I want to try different things, and he'll just be like, "How are you performing in the gym?" And I'll be like, "Well, I just hit a PR yesterday." He's like, "So then, what are you complaining about?" I'm just like, "I don't know. I don't like the way I look in the mirror." You know, it's
right.
Shit like that.
You do have a very nice face, by the way, and nice facial hair. Sevon, you look great. Do you ever fast? Yeah, like I said, for over a year now, I go 30 to 36 hours a week without eating. And I want to tell you something. It's the greatest fucking thing ever. I don't recommend it for anyone who's young, but once you start getting into your 40s, it has. I cannot tell you how. I woke up this morning and I didn't eat all day yesterday, and I woke up this morning just had a huge avocado, and I feel. I slept like shit last night because I drank too much coffee the day before. But man, do I feel fucking great fasting. All my inflammation goes away. So like my clothes fit me. Isn't it weird too when you see people, Jake, who have like nice bodies? Like my wife has an insane body. And then she'll be like, and I'll watch her I'll be just in the bedroom and she's putting on her bathing suit. And she'll be like, does this look okay? And I can't tell her how good it looks because I would have to like fucking start jumping up and down and get a bullhorn and like jerk a load off on her. It's like I can't even fucking tell you how great you look. I can't. I just have to be like, yeah, you look great. But really inside, I'm like fucking exploding.
My girlfriend's the same way. She has a 6-pack of abs, not an ounce of fat on her body except in her butt. And she'll be like, I think I need to lose a pound. I'm like, Kylie, come on. Like I'm like, you just take off your shirt and then immediately I'm
yes.
You know,
It's crazy.
But I get it because at the same time, like she'll look at me and be like, why are you complaining about it? And I'm like, look at that. I'm like, look at me, I'm fat. But like, and then there's times where like I have to reel it back and be like, Jake, you used to dream about being this guy right now, like a dream.
Yeah.
Literally dream. But now, and still, I beat myself up about it just because.
I push it down. I don't tell her because I hate it when she do. No, I push it all down because I hate it when she does it. So like I never will say to her, like I overcompensate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'll walk like all the way across naked, do a load of wash and walk back just to be like, fuck you. I'm fine with myself, even though like I'm not. But I was never unhappy. When I hear you say you were unhappy, I was never depressed about it. I could put on a shirt and be like, fuck, the world's great. You know, as long as we're not going to a pool party, I'm stoked.
Yeah, well, like you didn't have to worry about like chairs breaking underneath you on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's different, and that's like.
I'd love to hear some of those stories, by the way, and laugh at you if you have any. You could tell us.
Oh, I've broken some chairs in my day. You like any like if I went to a wedding and saw like those white plastic chairs,
yeah,
I'll just stand in the back because I don't want to make a scene for this wedding. I broke a metal chair in high school. I'll never forget my junior year in gym class, like sitting there and bended the damn leg on the metal chair, leaning back in it. And even then, like,
does the whole class start laughing? I mean, I know they're not laughing at you. It's just Laurel and Hardy shit, right? It's like Three Stooges shit.
And like, I was literally like right next to a couple of my best friends. So obviously they just started pounding me right then and there and let me have it. And like, I've always been good with that. I've always been the first one to joke about me being fat, so that like I made it seem like if anyone wanted to make fun of me, you couldn't make fun of me because I was already making fun of myself. I was one of those guys. I was the funny guy, you know, put the jokes on me, but I'm going to put the jokes right back on you, and you know it. I'm going to come 5 times harder because that's how I have to defend myself because I'm the fat guy type of scenario.
How did that happen? How do you I saw pictures of your dad. Your dad's not fat. How did you get fat? And one more thing I'd like to throw in there to kind of be one of the themes. What's crazy though is we say all this, but it's the norm now. Fat people are the norm.
It is, and it's funny you say that because I was talking to my girlfriend. We just went to Disney in the beginning of January.
I was gonna ask you about Disneyland. I heard it's crazy.
And I literally was saying to her, I was like, verbatim, I was like, you know, Savan always talks about just looking around, looking at people and the fatness in the world. I was like, if he ever came to Disney World, he would shit himself.
Yeah, some people have told me that a few years ago. They're like, dude, you better not go to Disneyland. You'll explode.
Oh, you would just sit there on a bench the whole day and just judge. And I wouldn't blame you because it's bad. And like, just,
do you know what's interesting though? I don't find obese people unattractive. Like I'll be with, like, I don't find, I'm more like mesmerized like a little kid. Like, how the fuck did that happen? How do you do stuff? I have trouble washing my ass and I'm a 155-pound man.
I wouldn't even tie my shoes. Like once I got a new pair of shoes, I just put knots on the end of the shoelaces.
Oh.
That way because I would get out of breath bending down the time I could do it. And I was a pretty athletic fat guy. I used to call myself a fatleet because I was just like, because I was pretty good at sports. Like even in high school, I was like the starting pitcher for the baseball. No bullshit. Like
wow.
At 300 pounds, I was the starting pitcher for the baseball team. I was a lineman. I wrestled here and there, but I was very athletic, and that was part of like what like drove me nuts as far as being fat. It was like, what could I do if I was actually, you know, in shape, like skinny, like my friends, or built like my friends? What could I do? And that was something that haunted me.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. I think I look back, I was just a pussy. I was so afraid of, I didn't want to sweat. Like I was afraid of sweat. And I always think, man, I wonder how different I would have been as a kid if I wasn't afraid of that stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I loved being out there. I loved being outside. And like how you asked how I got fat, and like that's what,
yeah.
It's I was big from the moment I was brought into this world. I was 12 pounds, 24 inches born. So I came out as a toddler with a driving permit pretty much. And from then on, I can always remember even even as a kid, never being like fat, but being very solid, like weighing more than all my friends. So when I started realizing the whole weight thing was when I got into, Little League football, and I guess I was 7 or 8, and they have a weight limit. And I remember being like the first year, like 3 pounds over the weight limit. So at like 8 years old, I'm going on my first diet ever to lose.
Wow.
3 pounds.
Wow.
And
do you remember what that weight limit was?
101.
Okay.
101 pounds. I do. I'll never forget it. And then the next year, I came in and I was 12 pounds over the 101 limit. And the way it works is like 7 to 8 is 101. Then you go like 9 and 10, you get to like 125. And like the weight limits go up as years go on.
It's crazy that you still remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and then like I got into coaching football after high school. So I kind of was still involved. So I remember that a little bit. But my weight escalated so quickly in those years that by the time I got to like the varsity, when you're 7th and 8th grade, so I guess you're 13, 14, I was too far out of the weight limit range. I think the weight limit was like 160, and at that time I was weighing 200 pounds. So like there was no chance of me dropping 40 pounds for the season to be able to play.
Were you heartbroken? Like your parents would go to sign you up and you're just too big?
I was and I wasn't. It's funny you asked that. Like looking back now, I used to make it seem like I missed it so much, but back in the back of my mind, I'm like, I hated practicing. I hated, the extra running, but I loved being under the lights. I loved game day, and being the big guy. For the years before that, when I could make weight, it was a little bit easier for me because I was always a bigger guy on the field. You know what I mean? So like I loved those Saturday nights getting under the lights and being able to push guys around. And I really didn't have to practice that hard because I was just a bigger dude.
Yeah.
And then with everyone, you see that they're like these kids that are always great when they're younger, but then they're just great because of natural abilities and they don't work on those abilities. By the time you get to high school, all the other athletes catch up to you and pass you because they're the ones working hard. And in a way, that's kind of what happened to me. I just never wanted to work hard. I was lazy. It was pure laziness, to be honest with you. I would closet eat. My parents weren't bad parents. Like my dad
aren't you supposed to like? Aren't you supposed to eat because like your parents got divorced or a girl made fun of you or like something? Aren't you supposed to like? Isn't that why you get fat?
Like I really had no reasons to.
Just bad habits.
Bad habits. Honest.
This interview's over. We're not going to get anything good. We're out.
I'll tell you all the good habits coming up soon. Nah, but yeah, it was just.
Tell me, like, so Capri Suns. Were you allowed to drink those as a kid?
I was allowed to, but so it's funny. My dad is like he does the like road biking, like the Lance Armstrong type biking. He's very into that. He's been doing that for 20 plus years now. That's his thing. And
like he's got the spandex. He's got a nice bike. He hangs it in the garage. You're not allowed to touch it.
Yeah, he's got one of those $7,000 bikes. You know.
Okay, yeah.
It goes in our living room. My mom used to always complain as a kid, but that bike was staying in the living room. Nice.
Yeah. I dig it. I approve.
I mean, looking back now, I do too. And I guess
it's art. Those bikes are art.
They're amazing. I mean, you can pick it up with your pinky. It's freaking. He actually got me into it for a little bit. Then I got more into CrossFit. But we'll get to that.
I saw you in some spandex on your Instagram.
Yeah, I gave it. I mean, you can finally wear it. You got to put it on, right?
Sure. Yes.
But as for like my mom was also always in shape. Always like worked out with like a trainer or went to the gym. But I was her baby, and I could just bat those eyes and get what I wanted from her, type of thing. And she gave in, and not because it was because she loved me so much, and like and she did nothing wrong. Like she was great, but those were like the times I would get like the little extra treats and stuff like that from my mom. But at the same time, they never had bad things. We never had soda in the house. The only time there was soda was when like we would have like a barbecue in the summer, you know what I mean, and just have people over, and people would leave stuff. But they never kept soda in the house. Overall, they're great examples as far as like eating. My mom and dad both eat great. Like they don't eat a lot of bull crap, a lot of bullshit. My dad's a meat and potato guy, but he also is the type that goes to work all day, then comes home and will work out in his garden or putting deer bait out. He's a hunter, so like he's always active, and until he doesn't stop until he sits down in his chair for the night, and then that's it. Right. So he could eat his meat and potatoes, but he was always working, biking in the summer. Saturdays were his 40-miler days, Sundays is 70-miler days, and then Tuesday, Thursday he'd always have a bike ride too, like 4 days a week, just long bike rides. And that was his thing. And my mom, like I said, always working out. So they were good examples, but there would be things in the house that I could just go and eat extra of at midnight, and then eventually get to the age where you can start. They're at work in the summer, and I can order pizza to the house because I'm learning. I'm got to that age where I don't need my parents to do that for me anymore, and would sneak the pizza boxes out in the trash before they got home. And I'd eat a whole pizza to myself. That was nothing. That was
before dinner.
Oh yeah.
Gary Roberts. I made this series called Killing the Fat Man, and Gary told me that to be as big as he was, and I don't think he was as big as you, like he would go, like some of the things you have to do is you have to like go out to McDonald's, get a Big Mac right before dinner, eat it in the car, and then come home and then have dinner. Or if you're going to go to someone's house and eat, you always eat a meal before, so you don't show them how much you're eating.
100%.
Or you eat half a gallon of ice cream, and then someone's going to find out, so you just eat the whole thing and then go to the store and buy a new one and replace it. And just like all these things, and I'm like, wow, it really is. Food really is a drug, because all the behaviors, those are all drug addict behaviors, right? Like you drink your mom's vodka, so you fill the water back up with bottle up with water. You smoke your roommate's weed, you kind of fluff up some other weed, try to make it look like you didn't smoke it. It's just all that. It's just all the same shit.
Oregano. Yeah.
Were you ever suicidal?
Yeah.
All around weight. Like, fuck, this is never. I can't do this anymore.
Just around weight, loneliness, feeling like no one wanted me, like feeling like I was a part of things because I was the guy that everyone could go to for things, because I was so scared to say no to a friend because what if I lost that friend? Like, you know how hard it is for a fat guy to make friends? You know, that's what I would think. Like, I don't want to lose these friends.
Right.
And in this process of losing weight, I've lost friends because I finally like realized my own worth and like what, you know, some friends were taking advantage of me type of stuff. And I've learned so much in this process, but you don't learn those things unless you go through those hard times and understand, like, and feel as low as you do. So like, there's some days when like, I'll feel low now. We all do. Like, there's moments where like, I'm just like, oh, this sucks. And then like, it's real easy for me to snap back out of it because I get to go back to the way I used to feel. And like I said earlier in the show, like, I really am living what I used to dream about. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever dream that you're big again? Do you ever like have a dream and you're 400 pounds and you wake up, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it used to happen earlier on not so much anymore, but definitely earlier on in the weight loss. It was actually pretty frequent. Like, I would say the first 6 months, all the time, just waking up, like, just thinking this is all, it wasn't true, but obviously it happens.
It was when I quit smoking cigarettes, it was like that. Even like a year after I quit, then all of a sudden I'd have a fucking dream that I was smoking again. And I would be so bummed in my dream. I'd be like, fuck, I'm still smoking. And then I'd wake up and be so happy.
Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes too. I get that. I was so like, Stefan, when I told you I was trying to do everything to kill myself.
Yeah, smoking's kind of a good way to lose weight.
Not for me.
Oh.
For me, it was like I would smoke, and like because the taste in my mouth I didn't like, I would have to go grab like a chocolate milk to get the taste out of my mouth. It was so stupid. Yeah, those are nightmares. You're right, Dan, and they were nightmares. But
so go ahead.
You talk about my intake. Like I almost want to take you through like a daily day of what fat we used to eat.
Please.
I like telling this because people are just like, what the fuck? So I remember like on my way to work, I would stop at McDonald's.
Where did you work?
I worked for this company called Universal Supply. They like sell like windows, siding, roofing.
Okay.
But I sat at a desk.
Rain gutters.
Yeah, stuff like that. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I love rain gutters.
So on my way to work, I would stop at McDonald's. And my go-to breakfast was 2 sausage burritos. I would get 4 hash browns.
Wow.
I would get a sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel.
Wow.
And then a large Dr. Pepper. And what I would do was I would eat 2 hash browns and 2 sausage burritos before I got to work. That way, when I walked into work, I just had my 2 hash browns and my sandwich and acted like it was my normal breakfast every morning. Like, oh, this is all I'm eating. But meanwhile, I'd already just put, you know, X amount of calories in my body. And then as the morning would go on, you know, with that kind of work, we always had like vendors come in with donuts and stuff like that. So it'd be nothing to have donuts or soft pretzels dropped off, and easily going to get 2 or 3 of those donuts. Soft pretzels, same thing, 2 or 3, and then
more soda.
Yeah, the soda all day, and Gatorade. Like, you know, the 32-ounce Gatorades.
Yeah,
I would probably drink a minimum of 6 of those a day.
Why Gatorade? There's nothing even fun in there except sugar. Like, why not soda so you can get caffeine too? Just habit.
I just love Gatorade. Gatorade was like my definitely one of my addictions. That was probably like one of the harder things to give up, but then. Now I can't tell you the last time. Probably 3 years since I've had an actual Gatorade since that surgery.
Were you ever a Diet Coke guy?
Yeah, I actually just started. I stopped drinking it recently because it was getting out of control.
Yeah, I would drink like 12 a day for years.
Yeah, I was having like 3 or 4 a day, and my girlfriend kept on getting on me about it. And actually, after Disney, I told her, like, all right, I'm gonna only have Diet Cokes when we go out to dinner and sit down for dinner, and that's only like 3 or 4 times a month. So that's what I've limited myself to now. But yeah, it's funny, like you said, like, addictions are addictions, and no matter if it's like ones that are bad for us or good for us, we end up getting hooked on something somehow, just the way my brain ticks, I guess.
Was the Gatorade the hardest thing to quit? Like,
Yeah.
because it's just so easy to consume and it's such a daily habit. Was
Yeah,
that the
at
hardest
the
thing?
first, the Gatorade was definitely the hardest. Like just drinking water or like the Gatorade Zero, just it sucked at first. But I kind of like when I first started, I really got on the water kick for like 3 weeks. That way, when I went to Gatorade Zero, it would taste like better. So I kind of like tried to trick my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart.
And that I kind of do that with a lot of things.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And then what would you eat for lunch? Just
So lunch would be, I never brought lunch, always bought my lunch, and it would be, we had this place close by that I like to order from a lot. I would get a bowl of clam chowder, cheesesteak, and cheese fries, and a soda.
damn.
And like,
Yeah, it's crazy that there's and now looking back, there's things on the menu and you're just like, you look at them and you're just like, that's just obesity making. Like anytime, like there's just it's crazy now going into a grocery store compared to like when I went into a grocery store 30 years ago. I just look at stuff and I'm like, that's just life shortening. Like just eat that, incorporate that into your habits and your life gets shorter.
There's certain things like I just refuse to ever like try to eat again. Like as far as like sandwiches, I think in the last 3 years I maybe had 2 sandwiches, and like that was because that's what I had to eat at the time. Like there was nothing else
because you just don't fuck around with bread anymore.
I try to stay as far away from bread as possible. Here and there, I'm not gonna like say but in the first year and a half, I didn't have a single slice or anything like that. And here and there, it'll be like maybe like a little piece of sourdough or a piece of wheat toast with my eggs type of thing. But I try no sandwiches, no sugar drinks. I still to this day do not drink any sugar drinks whatsoever.
Yeah, bread's bullshit. I had a friend tell me that in high school. I thought he was.
We don't need it. You don't need it on your sandwiches. You eat like I always say, you get the burger for the damn burger. Like, yeah, the bread is awesome, but a lot of people don't like making that sacrifice, and we're so accustomed in America to just have bread and every freaking meal. And
you definitely don't get both. Like, and that's the crazy part. You definitely don't get the fry. You don't get milkshake. So the first thing you do is you have to cut out the milkshake. There's just no excuse for that.
Yeah.
And then you have to either choose to go in there and get fries and fucking ruin your life, or go in there and get the hamburger. You cannot do both. You cannot do the bread and the fries. It's like walking backwards 100 steps. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I hadn't gone to a fast food place in I don't know how many years. Let's say 15 years. And then one of my friends at CrossFit loved going to fast food places. And I would order, but I would just take off the top bun. Like every time. Like, okay, if I'm gonna eat a Jack in the Box, and it was so effective. I'm not suggesting anyone do that, by the way. But the bread was clearly made out of sugar. And the difference between eating it with both pieces of bread and with the top piece off was like night and day. Like I would have a crash if I ate both pieces of bread. And then to think that people ate fries too, nuts to me.
And that's what I think a lot of it comes down to, is because like, even though I was eating those things and I knew it, like mentally, I know it's not like great for me, but I also didn't realize how bad it was for me. And I think that's such like,
I didn't realize it either. Yep.
I think that's just America in general. A lot of people just don't know what they're actually doing to their bodies. And it's just like, well, I'd rather be happy than like, I'm going to die happy. And like, you're going to die early.
No, yeah, you're not going to die happy.
Like,
you're not happy.
And you're not happy. In my mind, I always thought to myself, like, I'll be lucky to make 40. And I knew that, but I wasn't doing shit about it.
That's scary.
Like, it got to the point where it's like, let's try to expedite this process. And like when you asked me earlier if I was like suicidal, it wasn't almost like I wanted to kill myself right there, but like I got to the point where I knew what I was doing. And so then I was like, all right, if you're never going to change, like let's hurry this the hell up and like get really unhealthy. So like I would come home, and I was living with my parents at the time. And so for dinner I would come home, eat a snack, whether that be, go get a bag of chips and throw some chips on a plate and dump some cheese on it, throw it in the microwave and call it nachos, and go up to my room and eat that. And then hear mom say, all right, dinner's ready. Have 2 or 3 servings of that, and then 2 hours later, go make myself like a frozen personal pizza, or we have like what's called Wawa's out here, like a convenience store. And it's like a 7-Eleven type thing. Go to there and grab, a pint of Ben and Jerry's. And
Oh, damn.
on the way home, I would grab like not on the way home, but as I would leave Wawa, I would have an ice cream cake too. And I would eat like the ice cream, not an ice cream cake. What the hell they call it? Like whatever. It's just like a regular
sandwich?
Bar. Ice cream sandwich. Yeah. Eat that on the way home and then walk in with my ice cream. Like, I'm having ice cream tonight.
Yeah.
I just had, you know what I mean? Like, that was pretty much my daily routine of how I ate. So I was probably
it's just drug addict behavior. It's just so interesting.
It's what I was accustomed to doing. It's like I couldn't tick right if I didn't have certain things, because that's like couldn't stop at McDonald's, or I woke up late, like my whole day was ruined that I couldn't have my McDonald's in the morning type of thing. I was waking up to eat, not to work.
So how come ESPN Body Issue never asked CrossFit athletes post? I know they had Katrin David's daughter on there, and you don't want to get me started about that, but she's so proud that she posed naked on there. So you feel free, go to your Apple TV, look up, you can watch the behind the scenes of her.
Would you be proud of me if I posed naked?
How proud? Yes, very proud of you. Did anyone not want you to lose the weight? Is there anyone like people close to you, like your mom? Was she like worried about you? Like, oh, you're not eating enough, and you're like tripping. You're like, what are you doing? I'm trying to fix myself. But like people around you don't want you to change. Even people who love you.
I don't think anyone didn't want me to lose weight. My mom had reservations about the surgery, 100%.
Sure.
And my dad did at first. And then he kind of got to the point where he was like, you know what? Like, if this is going to take, he's like, I just want you to be healthy. Like, that's all. My dad always just wanted me to be healthy. From the time I was a kid, he was the hard one on me. He was the one that would make me cry and like say, like, would let me know that I am overweight. And now looking back on it, it's because I know he just wanted his son to be healthy and for me to live longer. And he was giving me that tough love, which now, like at the time, I'm like, oh, my dad's an asshole. I can't believe he's making me cry. He's making my life miserable. No, he wanted to make my life better. And you're an immature kid. You don't understand that then. And now looking back, I'm like, fuck, if I ever have to have that conversation if I have a child one day, like that's a hard conversation to have. I give my dad a lot of credit for like pulling me aside and being able to do that. And I love him for it now, because it always sat in the back of my mind. It was always something like, I want to make my dad proud. You always want to make your dad proud. And for the longest time, I feel like I wasn't, because I knew like he wanted me to be in shape and I wasn't. You know what I mean? I knew that's what he wanted more than anything. And I think that kind of like, I created my own depression by like my own thinking, like thinking that my dad saying those things was what's wrong with me. And when in reality, it's like what was going to make me better. You know what I mean? Like I was so down on myself. It wasn't him doing that. Like I just made him seem like the enemy. When in reality, like I knew what I wanted. So I was like just using him as the scapegoat, when in reality it was me.
Like blaming him?
In a sense, yeah. Like almost felt like, but meant like I'm scared, like almost nervous saying this, because I don't want him to feel like I have this against him anymore. But because I don't, like I love my dad. He's my best friend. My dad is my best friend. He is my go-to for anything in this world. And our relationship has only gotten better, and it was always amazing. He was the guy. He was the dad that took me to hitting lessons, pitching lessons 2 or 3 times a week, like to all my games. Never missed a game. When it came to work, like he would leave work to make sure he was at everything. But in my head, yeah, because I wasn't the perfect son, I would say, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't in shape like all the rest of my friends. And I would be like, oh, I would make up in my head that he doesn't love me as much because I'm this and not that.
Right.
Which is the farthest thing from the truth.
Did you ever, right, of course, as a parent, yeah, I totally get it. Did you ever blame anyone? Did you ever play the victim, or did you know? Did you have?
I never blamed anyone for my weight. Yeah,
me neither.
I knew. It's like like I said, I didn't know what I was doing to my body, but I knew what I was eating and consuming. And I knew like when I would sneak behind, people's backs to eat, or, like I said, showing up to work already eating a meal and then acting like this is my meal. Like I knew what I was doing.
Was your dad the only one that kind of gave you like held up the mirror of truth a little bit, or were there other people in your life that did that as well?
There was definitely some. So I'll never forget this, and I'm still friends with this guy to this day. Like we're not really close, but we still, if I see him, we're gonna talk. Like we were childhood friends. Remember, I think I was like around 20, and we were hanging out. I think we were smoking weed together, and we went to this convenience store, and I remember I grabbed ice cream and like an apple fritter, like Danish type thing. And
like those big brown ones.
Yes.
Yeah, I always got those because they were the biggest. I didn't care what I liked the most. I'm like, that looks like it's the most food.
Yeah, that's what's gonna exactly.
Other kids would get like the little glazed donut. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This apple fritter's 4 times the size. What the fuck's wrong with you?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And I remember him sitting there and going, you're killing yourself, right? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, dude, you eat like shit. And he's like, and it's gonna catch up to you. He's like, you're growing up. And I'm like, and his name was Wayne. And I don't even know if he remembers saying that to me. We could have been so high out of our minds. I don't know if you know, like it stuck with me for years. Like, so
that's awesome.
I had friends that like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And then this last time around, so the owners of the gym that I'm at, my cousin Danielle and her husband Dave. This is where my whole journey, but Danielle was always someone that would reach out to me in concern because she got into CrossFit. Like I think she's 6 or 7 years into it now. And she would just be like, hey, Jake, you can always come out or check out our gym whenever you want. No pressure, just putting it out there. Love to see you. Come get
I'm having a deja vu. I know. I feel like I've interviewed other people when I was doing the CrossFit podcast who said the same thing, that there would be these obese people that I would have on the show or formerly obese, and someone at a CrossFit gym would say that to him. I would see Greg do that. Walk right up to a fucking dude who's 400 pounds drinking a fucking Coke, like a dude who's so big, like he doesn't even look like he's wearing clothes. It looks like he just put a sheet on. And he would say, you know what I'm talking about? Like their shirts, it's like their shirt's so big and tucked in, and then it
lays out like this.
Yeah, it's nuts. And he'd be like, hey, what are you doing? They'd be like, what? And they'd be like, you're going to get type 2 diabetes. And the dude would be like, I already got it. And Greg's like, well, go to one of my fucking gyms. Here's my phone number. And he'd give him his personal phone number. And I would just be like, holy fuck.
But isn't it sad?
And I'd be like, is that crazy? And he's like, what are they going to do? He's like, I really fucking care.
Yeah.
As a past fat guy,
yeah.
I wish more people did that. I really do. Like, I never took some people do. I'm still only speaking for me, but I never took offense when someone was like, yo, you need to get in shape, because like I knew it. And like, as part of me was like, thanks. Like, you're right. I'm not going to do shit about it, but you're right.
Like you would take any. I was like that as a kid too. Like if someone was mean to me, I didn't care. Like I could convert. I was like an alchemist. I could take any energy and make it good energy. So you were like you said earlier. I'm guessing you were so lonely that someone would be like, "Hey, you're fat and you need to fucking like work out," and you'd be like, "Oh, that person cares about me." Like you would like spin that shit like. Like
I never got some energy. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. So like, but it's sad that like. In like society, we're so like scared to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, like there's this just an offer, and like and that's all you're doing is offer them something that could help them, but we're scared because we're taught that like, no, you're beautiful, no, like it's the inside that counts. Like that shit drives me up a wall. Because even back then I would know, like I'd be like, stop. You can like ask my friends, they'd be like, you're not that fat, you're just big. I'm like, shut the fuck up, I am fat.
Yeah, they
like,
think they're helping.
Don't lie to my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people I think that like there are some people out there that feed off the woe is me type shit. But I think for the most part, people that I'm speaking from my experience, and maybe I'm wrong, but like no one wants to be fat, man. No one wants to live like that. And we all are people that are fat are looking for that like they want to be that person that loses the weight and is that inspiration, but it is hard. But the more
How
people
long
that-
did it take you? It took you 2 years, right? To go from 400 to 200, 208, 212, 220? No?
No, not actually. Well, about a year. So if I lost that, I started in February of 2000. Was it? July will be 3 years. So February 2019 is when I started. And then I think I reached my goal weight of 215 by, I want to say, the following March or April.
So 13 or 14 months.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Wow. So you were basically losing 10 to 12 pounds a month every month
Yeah,
on average.
yeah.
Had you tried before that? Like, had you tried to lose weight before, like really try before
Like,
that?
Nah, never anything like long and serious. Just like short stints of like a month here, a month there. But
Man.
it would be like any excuse to like fall off, like have to go to a wedding or something like that, and be like,
Yeah.
mentally it'd be like, one day you fucked up, that you lost all your progress. Like I didn't have that thought process of like, okay, one day you can, like last night I went to a wedding, had a great time. Today, back on back on your horse, like get back to what you do every single day. It's no big deal of having one nice night of having a couple drinks.
Were there any recognized triggers that, like, you know, you were on the straight and narrow for a little bit, and then was there anything like consciously that happened that pulled you right back to that, or was it just a slow, like you said, one day off the bandwagon and then you're
one day of getting that sugar back in your system, and like, just like I said, falling off, having some pizza. The next morning, fuck it, I messed up yesterday. Let's head to McDonald's. Back to McDonald's.
The main reason why I ask this is right now we're doing a nutrition challenge at the gym, and we have a bunch of people going through it. And there's a handful of people that I've seen go through it year after year, and they tend to have this yo-yo effect where they get this great result, they finish the 8-week challenge, and then literally a month later we could see the check-ins at the gym just drop off, and then they're right back at the challenge the next year, and they're heavier than when they were their heaviest when they had started.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious if there was anything that helped you stay on the long-term path that I could kind of relay to them during this challenge.
So I think one of the bigger things for me is long-term goals, something that can't be achieved in 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's great. 8-week challenge is awesome. But once those 8 weeks is up, what are you really going for? Like maybe use the 8-week challenge as a starter for something bigger. So for me, when I first started losing the weight, I said, what physically do you want to do that you thought you'd never be able to do? Let's start there. And my first thing for me was I want to run a half marathon, like a 346 pounds. Started after the surgery. I was 346 pounds. Like, all right, my goal is to run a half marathon. And so what I did after the surgery was I started with, we have at CrossFit RDT, we have this thing called RDT Fit. And it's not quite CrossFit. It's no barbell pretty much. It's CrossFit without the barbell. And it's for like beginners, people that want to get in, maybe some older women, kind of like that setup. So I started with that, and I started running or walking 3 times a week. And I had to start slow. For the first time I went out there, or first few weeks I went out there, I would do electric poles. So I would run to one pole, one telephone pole, walk to the next one, run one telephone pole, run to the next one. Like
Did you come up with that?
Yeah, it was just like something
pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. I approve. That's good shit.
Yeah, and then it would be, okay, today on your run you're gonna do 2 phone poles and walk 1.
Yeah.
You know, progressed it until I was whatever, until I felt like I could run a mile, and then I ran the mile. That was a big accomplishment for me. You know what I mean? So like in going for a half marathon, there's a lot of other little accomplishments in there that you can feel proud of as you're going. And I think that was big for me. And all meanwhile, still coming to CrossFit and doing the RDT Fit. And so I it took me until about the same time to run. As I lost the weight, I ran the half marathon in May of 2020. And it wasn't because of COVID. I couldn't do an official one. There was no official.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your site. You just ran it with your buddy.
So I just ran it with
think
the guy.
I think it's even better that you did that.
Mhm.
It shows it shows more like
You were committed
fuck,
regardless.
I'm doing
Yeah,
this.
like I knew when I was ready, and like I was ready to go. And
Your buddy hates you, by the way, for making him do that with you, no matter what he says.
Dude, that guy Josh is a nut when it comes. He runs like a half marathon every Sunday.
Oh damn!
So that was just another day for him. The guy, he just did a couple marathons. He's another good dude. Lost a lot of weight.
So I got a question for you. So some girl who works at a CrossFit gym is like, hey, you should come to CrossFit, and
She's my cousin. She's my cousin.
Yeah. Okay, and you never the brunette, pretty girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so you never go, and then you decide. Do you tell her you're going to get this surgery?
Yeah, and she actually
and is she like, are you out of your fucking mind, dude?
Yeah, there I am running it. Yep. She
then,
was definitely like not for it, but she was also like kind of got where a lot of people got. Were like, all right, Jake, like if this is what's going to take for you to finally like do something.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too with it. I'm stoked you did it.
You know what I mean? And that's where it kind of came down to. People were like, all right, we've tried other avenues. And so what we did the week before I got my surgery, me and her met at a Starbucks. And we sat down and she just started talking to me about, okay, like I'm going to work with you. That's the owner right there. You saw in that video. Sorry. We're going to go.
That guy wears shirts that are too small for him, right? He looked like he had a good body.
That dude is ripped.
Yeah.
He's a stud. We bust his balls so much. Like we have a small group of us now, and like he takes the brunt of it all, but he is such a good dude. He's one of the best dudes I've ever met in my life.
They call those scapegoats. They take all the misplaced aggression.
Dave takes it well. He's a good dude. Dave Lorenzo, really.
That's good. It. Hey, you should make that T-shirt for him. Dave takes it well. Okay. So she sits you down a week before, and she's like, "Look, when you're done with your surgery, you got to start coming into the gym."
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, "You got to come to the gym." She's like,
"Your doctors tell you that?"
The doctor, so I had a really good doctor, and he was like, "Do you have a plan?" And I told him, I was like, "I think I'm gonna try like this CrossFit thing." And he was like, "Awesome." So I go for it. Dr. Anna Pachenko. Yeah, he's so supportive of me. He's like, I'm one of his favorite clients, he always says. But
yeah, you're awesome. You're fucking a poster child. Do you think how important I wonder if they made every single person who had this surgery go to a CrossFit gym, if their success rates would skyrocket. I looked up some stats last night after I saw that you had the surgery, and it is a fucking steady decline. It's like I have a link somewhere. It goes from like 95% in the first year successful. And by the time you get to the fifth year, it's 70%. And then if you look at some 10-year shit, it gets really bad.
It's like, yeah, you're down to 10% of excess body weight loss like that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about that surgery. And that's where it is.
But you have this gym. You have all this peer pressure around you that you've self-imposed, right? Like
on purpose, 100% on purpose.
Yeah. It's people who you aspire to look like, people who will judge you if you came in there with a Gatorade, people who, like, if you go out with it, no one will eat the bread in front of you. Like, I mean, it's a good group.
Not gonna lie, like being on this podcast was like another thing. Like, yo, like now you're really gonna get in front of some people. You might like this is another reason like you're gonna have to keep your ass in shape. But like, I honestly, I want to say I'm past that point of needing that. Like, I don't know what I would like do with my life if I don't like leave work and come to RDT every day. You know what I mean? Like I kind of be lost without it, but I do still use things like this for motivation. Like you'll find this funny. Like I'm working out last week and like when you want to start slowing down, I'm like, dude, you're about to be on the Sevon pod. Like thinking mentally, like, you're gonna be on Sevon didn't want to have any bitches on his fucking on his podcast. Like, keep fucking going. Like that's mentally you do that stuff. I do that
every game. But, you said something on your Instagram about your wife now?
She's not my wife, she's my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend, that is really important for everyone to hear. And you will not get to be with great people like Jake unless you have this mindset. You will not live a happy life unless you have this mindset that your girlfriend has. You said that she doesn't care if you're at the gym for 5 hours, but even more so that she doesn't care. She's happy for you. She's happy that you're happy. She's not like, hey, you should spend more time with me. Man, that is when you find someone like that, like my wife never says, "Oh, you're doing another podcast." Like that would fucking break me if she said that.
Yeah, never
She
once.
she always, it's always like, "Go get them. You did such a great job. I listened to your show. I love you. I'm so impressed at your dedication." Like the tiniest little things, and those just launch me.
Yeah, no, Kylie has never once. I'm no bullshit. Never once when I wake up at 5 a.m. to head over to the gym, or every Saturday and Sunday, like I go to the 7 a.m. I try to get there by 7 a.m., do the 7 a.m. class with everybody, hang around. And then she usually gets there around 9:30, but never once when I'm waking her up is she like, "What are you doing? Like, get back in bed." Like, you go. Never once has she been like, "You go too much." She's always like, "Babe, have fun. I'll see you there. Be careful. Text me when you get there."
Yeah. When you have people who are inspired in your life, like Jake, don't fucking do anything except nurture it. I don't care what it is. They're into fucking bonsai trees.
Yeah.
Just nurture people's passion.
And
They're into origami or whatever that thing is, you fold paper. Like, even if it's your kid, don't ever tell your kid that they're doing something stupid if it's not harmful. Just let them go down the path. Nurture that shit.
She's amazing. Like, she's still, like, last Saturday night, she stayed up late making my meal preps for the week. Like, she's one of those that wants to, like, help me eat healthy, like make sure that I have meals to eat at work so I don't have to go order out or anything like that. She is my biggest supporter. She's the love of my life, 100%, no doubt about it in my mind. But like that was part of like one of the big things as far as me dating someone, because in 27 years before I lost the weight, I'm not kidding when I say I didn't have a girlfriend. Like I never, like, like middle school stupid shit, but I never, from 20 when it actually serious, I never had a girlfriend or anything. So like when I finally did decide, like, I'm gonna date someone because I'm in shape now and all that stuff, and like I wanted to make sure like it was someone like Kylie. And
where did you meet her?
At the gym at RST.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so she
came. Hold on, before you go into that, I want to ask you, what is this?
So that is
what is it? Is that Bill Murray?
That is Uncle Rube. He passed away a few years ago. So we have a little.
Have you tried that? Have you tried letting a mouse trap?
Not on my tongue. We would do our fingers, and this guy was like, "You guys are pussies." He's like, "Watch this shit," and he's just a legend, man.
He's snapping a mousetrap on his tongue.
On his tongue. Like, and he would do it 15 more times, Devon. Like, the coolest dude you ever met, the nicest guy, genuine, would do anything for you. Like I said, he did pass away a couple years ago, unfortunately.
How'd he pass? Is he a drinker?
Massive heart attack. Definitely beer, smoking, unhealthy.
Yeah, he looked like he drank. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, but that's pretty incredible, that the mousetrap on the tongue.
Isn't that amazing? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad Uncle Rube got shot out on the 7 podcast today.
That's your dad's brother?
No, he's not actually my official uncle. We have like a hunting club, and like he's the guy who hopefully will be my best man one day if I do get married. It's his actual uncle.
Okay.
And so I just was so close with the family. Like that guy, he's like my brother, Robbie. He's like my brother. So we just called him Uncle Rube. That's what everyone called him.
Okay. All right. So sorry. So you met your girl at the gym.
Yeah. So I kind of definitely like went after her a little bit.
Like a lot of it.
A lot of it. She has an amazing body. She's a beautiful girl. And so she put up this post on, like, we have like a community Facebook page, and she put up, "Hey guys, she was new to it. I'm looking for my first pair of CrossFit shoes. Let me know what your recommendations are." So, me. I just slid in her DMs a little bit. Said, "Hey, I'm a Nike Metcon guy, but that's just me." And then she ended up going with the Metcons. So I'm like, all right, maybe she like has some. I was like, maybe that's a good sign. Maybe she like.
See how easy men are. See how dumb we are. She bought the shoes. I said she must want to get married.
I'm like,
you ran right to the store and bought a ring.
She needs to be. She's involved in my life now. She bought Metcons. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got in her DMs like that, and then she got them, and I didn't hear back from her, so I messaged her again. It's like, "Hey, how you liking the shoes?" And she wasn't a fan. She ended up going getting nanos. And
does she have wide feet? Does she have wide feet?
No, but she's a nano girl is what it is. I'm a Metcon guy, whatever. But as it stemmed from there, it kind of like snowballed into like, we didn't dive right in as far as dating. We probably more talked on like Instagram DMs for like 3 or 4 months, and then I finally got her number. And
would you go to the gym when you knew she was there? Did you start like changing your schedule and shit? Like you'd be like, all right, this chick goes to the 8 o'clock class.
So it was tough because she always goes to night. She's actually in the gym working out right now. But she goes to all like the 9:30 a.m.s because she's it's actually about to change, but she's a X-ray technician, and she would work like 2 to 11 every day. So she would go in the morning, and I would work like a 9 to 5. And so I would come after. But on the weekends, I always knew she'd be in on like Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings. So like I wasn't sure which class she would be at. So I'd always make sure to be there at 7 a.m. and try to catch her with the workout or something like that. But
if she wasn't in the first class and you saw her come to the second class, would you stay?
Till this day, I'll get here at 7 a.m. and I won't leave till 1.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm obsessed, man.
What do you do there? Like you're just talking to people, like volunteering, checking people in, criticizing people. Hey, you didn't put your bar away, dumb fuck. Like you're just
yeah, like I'm the ball buster in the gym a lot of times, and like, but for the most part, well, no, like, most of my friends now come to RDT, or if I had like my best friend Robbie that I was talking about, who's gonna be my best man, like he didn't come to RDT, but now he does. Like I got him in the CrossFit,
converted him.
My mom comes to RDT now.
Oh, you must be so proud of your mom.
Yeah. I've been trying like for years to get her in here, intimidated. Finally comes in, does like, we have a foundations thing where you do 1-on-1 for your first like 6 classes with one of our coaches, just 1-on-1, get the foundations of everything. Then they put you in classes, and she fell in love. I was like, Mom, it's 1-on-1. Like, and for now, she like used to like the first couple times, she's like, what classes have the least amount of people? Now she's showing up to 9:30 class, which has like 20 people in it every day, and she's part of the community, loves it. But for the most part, all my friends now are RDT members, and they weren't before. Like they weren't my friends before, but like I was talking about, we have like a group of 4 guys now. Well, it's a bigger group of that, but like there's a 4 that I play golf with pretty regularly when it's not 15 inches of snow on the ground. And it's me, my buddy Richie, Dave, and Sean, and those guys have become like, if you would have told me back 3 years ago who would be in my wedding compared to now, like it's a completely different wedding setup. You know what I mean? Like these 3 guys will be in my wedding compared to like the people that I said that I thought were my friends, and like, and like you talked about like you hang around the people who you want to be like. You know what I mean? And
yes. We're all mirrors here. We're all mirrors.
And these guys, they show up on Saturday mornings with me, and I mean, we spend the first hour rolling out, talking, just bullshitting about whatever. Then we hit a lift and a workout, and it's just part of my routine now. Saturday mornings, like if you want to find me, you'll find me at RDT. Sunday morning, same thing.
Did you come here to Colorado because you saw Matt Bickle went there?
Who the hell is Matt Bickle?
All right, just check. Matt Bickle is the guy I had on the show. He lost 100 pounds. He was like a 500-pound dude who dropped to like 386. He's like, he's huge. He might be like 6'6", 6'7". He's a giant dude. Anyway, he when I had him on the show, he came here, and since then I've always thought of this place as kind of, and I want to say that maybe, who did I know who has no arm? Maybe someone I knew who had no legs or no arms and no legs. But basically, this place, I always think of this place as sort of like the proving ground for people who lost weight. Were you running the stairs here? I'm showing a picture of the Red Rock amphitheater. It's outdoor amphitheater with crazy staircase. Did you go there to exercise, or are you there to see?
I went there. This was actually a day after skiing in Colorado. I was skiing that day, and we hit this on the way home. But like, it's funny you bring this up. Like the only reason I was able to go out to Colorado was because I finally lost the weight and wasn't self-conscious about getting on a plane for 5 hours, sitting next to someone. You know what I mean? Like I would feel terrible. The longest flight I would make as a fat guy was a 2-hour down to Orlando so I could go to Disney or something like that.
Yeah.
Anything over that, I was like, hell no. Like, and then part of me was like, my buddy had moved out there, and he had been out there for probably like 3 years before I actually went out there. And he was like a really close friend of mine and always telling me to come out. And I just give him every excuse under the sun. In reality, it was I did not want to go out there on a plane for 5 hours and be petrified if I'm next to somebody and like torturing them because
they
I'm
hate
so
you.
big. And
They hate you.
Yeah, I was definitely like one of those fat guys that was like
in your seat.
I knew what was going on. Like I didn't want to be that asshole that was oblivious to like I wouldn't walk out of the house with a wife beater on because I knew no one wanted to see that. You know what I mean? Like
I do. I did. I was the exception. I'm fascinated
by people that do that.
I'm just fascinated by just all bodies. I just like as a kid, I just remember just like loving like the fat. Like I thought the fattest guy in the world was so fucking cool, or the fattest twins. Or I just am not. I'm just not bothered. I was on a flight one time coming back from Las Vegas, and I sit in the seat. There's 3 seats, and I sit in the seat, and there's a lady next to me who's probably 100 pounds overweight, and a man next to me who's 100 pounds overweight, and both of their shoulders are encroaching on my shoulders, right? And I tell myself, I'm like, I can either just fuck it, like just be so cool with it, like that's what I'm doing this trip. I'm just touching these 2 people. Then so I fell asleep. And they're touching me. They're kind of keeping me warm. And I'm kind of like talking myself into enjoying it. And like, just, yeah, this is fine. We're just people just on a plane. Love this. Yeah. About 20 minutes before we land, they're talking. And I realized that they're engaged. And I said to them, oh, do you guys want to sit next to each other? And they said, no, it's too tight. Then I was fucking pissed. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Like, I gotta pay for this fucking seat. Yeah, at first I was like, cool. Hey, we're having a love-in. You fuckers bought the outside seats to squish a fucking midget like me. I was fucking
that's messed up.
At that point.
They're probably
I would buy like the first class seat up
you
front.
Would?
Yeah, well, like we're talking like Spirit Airlines, an extra $50 for this. It's called the big seat. Like it's not first class. Like don't get me wrong.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
But it's called the big seat, and I could actually fit in it, you know, without encroaching on somebody else. But yeah, it got to the point where like flying was so embarrassing for me because I needed like the seatbelt extender. They'd have to come with like an extra belt so that you could get around my.
I would always take those when those would like if I would go to a seat and there'd be one of those, I would always take one of those. I used to fly a lot, like at least once a week, and I love seatbelt extenders. I don't know why, I just thought they were so cool. I mean, I didn't want one.
So how many do you have now?
I don't know. I don't even know if I have any. I probably threw them away or gave them to my.
Was it there a period of time where they tried to make people purchase 2 seats? Like if you were a certain weight limit or something, or they're
if they did, I never got to that point. That was an awesome day right there, man.
You say here that basically you got to skydive when you wanted to skydive before you were too heavy. What's too heavy to skydive? I never even thought of that.
250. You can't be more than 250 for skydiving.
Wow.
For tandem, I think and then 275 if you go by yourself.
I guess it makes sense. It's a shit ton of impact when you land.
Yeah, and I guess more safety for the instructor too. I mean, you don't want to die.
They can't like reach around you or something.
Yeah.
Pull the
what
cord.
happens? What happens to your penis when you lose 200 pounds?
I knew you were gonna ask, and like yesterday we're at this wedding. I'm like, I know he's gonna ask the questions because he's that guy, and like I knew it was coming about. So it doesn't actually get bigger, but because you lose the fat, you get to finally see more of it.
Yeah, it looks like it gets bigger, right?
It definitely grew.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with that now, you know. No, it's just to be able to see my dick, Savon, it was like a big
yeah.
You know what I mean? Without like having meter on my toes. That was a big accomplishment. And little stuff like that, like, yeah, people joke about it, but like it doesn't bother me. Like it's great. Like, it's not, if anything, it's a good thing now. You know what I mean? And I want to say at one point, like I was taking a shitload of creatine. This is probably 15 years ago. I remember just taking a shitload of creatine. I really wanted to bench 225. I still never did it. And I got up to 182. I would say that again. So that's like the gym owner, Dave Lorenzo. We have an inside joke with him that he can't bench 225. So occasionally he'll send us a video of him hitting it.
By the way, that's a crazy split jerk you do at 300 pounds.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy. And your bar muscle up's crazy too.
That was a stroke.
Yeah, who would have ever thought? Okay, enough penis talk. Who would have ever thought that you would get a bar muscle up?
Not me.
I mean, yeah, this is nuts.
It was a pipe dream, man.
This is
like
something
people can't hear the audio.
An obese person will never do. Get a bar muscle up.
You guys can't hear the audio, but there are so many people that watch me that day that go absolutely insane because they've been like watching me try to get this. And this was, I think, last March? Yeah, last March. And I actually end up there's the audio. Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah.
That's actually the owner, Dave, screaming there, and then the other guy, Sean, who, like I said, is part of that golfing group. When did you fancy? So you're 350 pounds. You start going to this CrossFit gym. You had the surgery. How long are you there before you're like, man, maybe one day I'll have a bar muscle up? So,
because that's crazy to think that you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, like, as far as like CrossFit goes, I started doing it like in my mind just to like get in shape. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know like the methodology behind it all. It was just like a workout.
Somewhere to exercise and sweat.
Yeah. And so what happened was I was on this goal for my half marathon and like still going to, like I said, showing up to the gym, doing the workouts. I probably came to the gym 2 or 3 times a week and I would run the other 3 times a week. So not coming here every single day, but just coming here. And then the gym shut down because in March 2020 of COVID. And that lasted all of, 2 months. And in that meantime,
were you tripping when they closed?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because like I was starting to like get these friends there and like I was feeling accepted somewhere and like I really liked that. But I wasn't at this point. I'm so motivated for my like half marathon. Like this is March of 2020. So I'm only like 3 months out. Like I'm really getting in shape now. I'm over.
You're not getting depressed and thinking you're going to relapse and going to fucking Wawa's or whatever.
And like Dave and Danielle did an awesome job of communicating with everyone, giving us an at-home workout every single day, doing Zoom workouts and stuff like that. And so I would do that. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to amp up running. And in the meantime, my dad, this is where the spandex comes in. My dad's like, hey, weather's getting nice. How about we start like mountain biking and getting on the bike and stuff like that? He goes, I'll buy your first mountain bike for you.
Wow.
That gets you started. I'm like, all right, awesome. Like deal. You got a deal. So me and him started doing that. And
I'll buy, if you're buying me a dildo to get me started, I'll take anything for free. Get it. Give me something.
Exactly.
Buy me something.
And like, I think there might be a post on my Instagram where it's like, I just did my first bike ride with my dad. And
yeah, it's there somewhere. I saw it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't tell you, I'm trying not to get choked up about it, but how the happiness I felt after that bike ride, seeing the joy on my dad's face that he finally just got to have a bike ride with his son after 28 years of something that was his passion. And I got to share that with him. And it's that day, it still fucks me up how good that, like, I'm getting chills right now because I find like, and I know, like, I'm going to say this, and I know he was always proud of me in a way, but this time I felt like, wow, my dad's really fucking proud of me. Like,
yeah,
I just kept up with him on a bike because I'm in shit. I've been running and like, wow, like what a feeling, man. So like that, like, and this was all going on while the gym shut down. So that hit me with another spark of like, I want to ride bikes. So like, I went out and then bought myself a road bike, started doing that with him. And in the meantime, RDT started bringing back.
You know how happy that made your mom too?
Oh, I'm sure, man.
Like to see her 2 favorite dudes doing shit together. I mean, it's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, and that guy in the middle, that's Sean. He's one of the dudes that I was talking about. That's part of that like little golf group I have now. That guy right there. I can't say enough about one being like Savon, when you talk about like a CrossFit guy who like just like talks about from nutrition, from mentality to work ethic to being just like overall great human being. Like could walk into any CrossFit gym in America and they'd be happy to have him because he's that good of a coach, that good of a human being.
Just adds to every scene he's in.
Yes. And like we it's funny, like I say, like Dave Lorenzo is like our scapegoat of the group because me and Richie are the ball busters. And we always say like we can't bust Sean's balls because he's too good of a human being. Like we feel that like he's that good. And like even if you do try to say something to him, he'll just be like, he'll play it off like, yeah, like he'll make it in a positive way. He's just like one of those guys, like introduce me to the stoicism thoughts and stuff like that. But yeah, so like when the quarantine was going on, I got onto the bike and stuff, and I really got into biking, started hitting the road bike. Well, when we finally came back to RDT, I think like one of the first workouts was an assault bike and box step over workout. And so I've been spending all this time on the bike, and I'm like, I think I'll try the RX today, whatever it was, the 50-pound step overs and the assault bike. And I think I was like 4th or 5th on the whiteboard. And I've always been a competitive guy. Like I said, always did sports, and it sparked something in me where I'm like, I guess maybe I could kind of get like not competitive as far as a competitor, but with my gym, you know what I mean? Like these guys I used to watch over on the turf while I'm doing RDT Fit, I'm starting to like see my numbers get near them.
Yeah.
So like that's when I lit this fire in me as far as CrossFit goes. That's a cool picture.
That's a great picture. What a crazy juxtaposition.
That's when I started realizing I was getting in shape. But yeah, so I started like realizing like loving the competition with it and like making friends in the gym. So then by the end of that summer, I was like full-fledged, like, all right, I want to do CrossFit now.
That's summer of 2019.
20, after the half marathon. 19, I had the surgery, and I started that summer just like I was doing CrossFit. That July of 2019, I had the surgery. February is when I started the process. So July of 2019, I had the surgery. And then, yeah, that year is when I started. So from then on, July to May is when I did the half marathon.
And it was after the half marathon that somewhere in there you're like, hey, I could do a bar muscle up. I can start doing some of this shit.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, like I wanna do all those things that those guys are doing. Like this is now your goals. Like this is your long-term goal. Because I know bar muscle up, like again, like I talked about earlier, having long-term goals. And that was obviously a huge long-term goal. And now I have like the goal of a ring muscle up. So hopefully you'll be seeing that coming up soon. I've been hopping on the rings here and there, giving them a whirl, but still a little ways out.
Do shitloads of negatives.
Negatives? All right.
I mean, that's how I did it. I just did 10 negatives like every other day.
Okay.
Just like start with a really fast one so that like, go down really quickly because you don't want to like, and then by the 10th one, just war and fucking war with that false grip. And then as it rips you out, and then one day you'll just go the other way. Don't even worry about getting a muscle up. Just do negatives. Negatives are the way all gymnasts get strong, I think.
Yeah, I'm one of those typical guys that wants to like skip right to like just get hopping up there.
Fuck kipping. I can't even. I don't even know if I can do a kipping muscle up.
Yeah, your strict muscle ups are ridiculous.
What happened here?
So that is Liam, and he passed away of SIDS at 8 months old.
And is this boy related to you?
No. So, I talked earlier about like I have friends in my life that aren't in my life anymore. That is part of that group.
Yeah.
And they were like the family I considered like they at one point like my second family. And
yeah.
They're great people. I have nothing bad to say about it. I just sometimes you gotta go separate ways in life. And but he was one of the brothers that I'm friends with. He was their son, and they asked me to be the godfather.
Oh man!
And so I was his godfather. Yeah, and he passed away of SIDS, and I was very close to him. I probably saw him like I don't know that in his 8 months of being alive, I had maybe 5 days went by that I didn't see him, type of thing. So I saw him every single day, pretty much.
So it rocked you.
Yeah, bad.
When was that? How many years ago was that?
think we were coming up on 5 years now.
Wow.
Did it fuck them up? Your friend and his wife?
Yeah. And
Are
they're
they still
actually no
together?
longer together.
They're not together.
Nah, they're not together anymore. Actually, they weren't together when. It's a lot of drama. Like I said, there's a lot of drama that goes on, but they weren't even together when that happened, and that's kind of why I was always in his life so much. I was kind of helping out. So I mean, that's as far. I don't want to get too much into that, just because it's like some just other bullshit. But yeah, he had a big impact on my life, and still to this day has a big impact. He's the screensaver on my phone. You know what I mean? He's just he meant a lot to me. But like part of this journey was like, I'm always like, I hope he's proud. You know what I mean? Like he definitely had a lot to do with me wanting to be a father one day. And in order to be a father one day, I can't be 400 pounds and
you cannot be.
No, I can't.
You cannot be. Is that why you posted this also, because of the loss of that friend of yours?
Yep.
Yeah. Man, my life is just so easy. I don't have any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like everyone who died in my life, all the hardship in my life was supposed to happen. You know what I mean? You're supposed to get a flat tire when you run over a piece of wood. Your grandfather's supposed to die.
Grandparents,
yeah. I haven't had any. This guy Matt Bickle. You should look this guy up. You guys.
No, I will. Yeah, I wasn't saying that like disrespectful when I said.
No. I didn't. It wasn't taken as that. No, it was funny. It was no, it wasn't.
Perfect.
What is there anything you could do to help someone else who is 100 pounds or 200 pounds overweight to get on it? Or is it just an individual journey? Is it like, fuck, I ain't got nothing for you. Good luck. Or is it like, I do have something for you?
No, what I have for some person is give it more than that 2 weeks that we all give it and then give up. And it's like addiction with anything. It's like you're going to stop when the person's ready, when you've had enough. And some people will never, or like when they finally get to that point, it's too late because they just had a massive heart attack. And you know what I mean? Like what I have for people is what you see. And like my mom, biggest advocate of always said actions speak louder than words. And that's what I kind of want to put out there. But what I can say is, and like this is from old fat Jake talking to some people out there that are fat. And if you're hearing this, like you can do it. I did it. If it takes the surgery to do it, don't let anyone make you feel bad about that. And if you don't want to do the surgery, find a CrossFit gym, find a nutritionist, be accountable for yourself. But at the same time, like for me, Savannah, like it was finding out that I had diabetes, that kicked my ass. And like I saw family members had to get like half their leg chopped off because like everyone I guess has that breaking point.
So you got scared. You got scared.
Fucking A. So like what happened was
I'm smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and then I feel a lump on my throat and all of a sudden now I quit for a month.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that. Like, oh fuck.
What kind of happened was I was like 3 years ago again down in Disney and I just went with my parents. And I remember like my feet just being excruciating, like in pain, being so uncomfortable, barely fitting in rides. But then I was also started getting these like, I felt like crashes, like my body would be like feeling terrible while I'm down in Disney, and something definitely didn't feel right. And I never like was really experienced this before. So I have a really good buddy who's a physician's assistant for like an urgent care around here. I went to him and he's like, do you ever take like your blood sugar? I'm like, no, what the hell is that? Like, I didn't even know what it was. He was like, let me take it. And I think it was like a 308 or something like that. And we're supposed to be around 100 or under 100. He's like, bro, you got type 2 diabetes. I'm like, what? And, you know, at first I'm like, well, what do we do for his medication? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and mentally I'm like, you know, fuck this. I don't want to be on medication the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to live like that. It was my breaking point. Diabetes was like, for some reason in my head, that was what it took, I guess. And I guess not seeing 400 pounds on the scale wasn't that. Cause I always said in my head, like before that, like, all right, once you get to 300, that's it. You're never going higher. Once you get to 400, that's it. You're never going higher. It wasn't any of that made me do it. It was fucking diabetes, because that scared the absolute shit out of me. And
do you think that's the only way? Like, I always think
like a rock bottom, or like,
yeah, like either you have to be like, to have massive change, you either have to be like get suicidal, have some sort of supernatural intervention. You know what I mean? Like people are like, holy shit, like I got in a car accident when I was drunk and I floated to the heavens and I heard God say time to quit drinking. Or you have to be so afraid of death that you make the change. Like I personally think that it has to go that way. You either have to be so terrified, you have to have near death, but like I feel like no one changes like it, like, okay, I'm 30 pounds overweight, I'm gonna change. It's like, oh fuck, you've started on this journey of drinking every day and you're gonna have to go to jail before you quit. I mean, I know that's harsh, but I just feel that way.
No, I
maybe jail 5 times. You have to get fucking and room with Bubba for the weekend.
Like you see, like with addicts, I'm like, we all have that experience of people that go to jail 19 times and still they come out. The first thing they want to do is go get high. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, how many people have tried diets and like tried 20 freaking diets, and the first thing, like as soon as it goes bad, the first thing they want to do is go grab that donut or cheesesteak or a piece of pizza. You know what I mean?
You should pat yourself on the back for trying. On the other hand, I did before I was able to quit smoking. I had to try there were times where I quit smoking for a year and then relapsed.
Yeah.
But I had to quit. I had to try probably, I don't know, 40, 50 times in my life of quitting before I actually was. And I would be compassionate with myself. I'd be like, okay, you just got to try again.
Yeah. And I want to honestly, within the last 5 years of being fat, I didn't try shit, honestly. Like,
so you kind of surrendered to like, okay, I'm going to die at 40.
Yeah. Like I said, I was trying to speed up the process. And then for some reason it was like, I guess as fucked up as it is, I was more hoping like I want the quick, easy death, like a massive heart attack and get the hell out. And then when they told me diabetes, I'm like, no, that's like slow and leg off and people's going to have to wipe your ass type. I was like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? And like, I'm too much of a pussy to actually like kill myself. Like I was suicidal, but like in the sense of like, I want to do it from not like putting a gun to my head, but putting a cheesesteak to my mouth. Yeah.
I get that. I think I was kind of like that. I had some moments like that too. Like there's no fucking way I can hurt myself.
Nah, I
but this shit needs to be over, but I can't hurt myself.
Yeah. I didn't want to do it. I don't know. You know, it's just, you think of ways, but it's just like, nah, I wanted like,
I'll be the first dude who dies from just eating M&Ms.
Yeah,
we found it with 600 pounds of M&Ms.
I hope I choke on one of these or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as like, does everyone have to have that moment? Like, I hope not. I hope there's some people out there who just say like, but like at what point? Like, if you're to that point, like I hope someone out there is like maybe in the process of like they're eating like shit and like still eating that stuff, and they're like, wow, before I get there, like before I get to how Jake was, maybe that I can have that impact. But like, if you're already there, you're already there. So that is that kind of is your that is your rock bottom. I mean, if you're 300 plus pounds, I mean, no offense to anybody, unless you're like 7 foot, like no one should be 300 plus pounds. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big you are. It's not healthy for you. So
how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Oh, so you're a big dude.
I'm definitely a bigger dude. And like I said, now
you got big old hands too, huh? Can I see your hands? Do you still have big old hands?
Yeah, I got big hands.
Yeah. Your hands got skinnier though too, a little bit.
Oh, hell yeah. Everything did.
There's some pictures with you like holding women and you make them look like in your Instagram, you make them look like a little soccer ball.
Yeah. There's a one I hold like my little friend Tara. I'm still close with her. I work with her actually. But she's like 5 foot nothing and 115 pounds soaking wet. And next to me, she looked like we looked like the number 10. She was the 1 and I was the 0.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was a massive dude. You know, I was like the protector guy. I was the friend zone guy.
Yeah. That sucks.
Heck yeah, right now I'm like 235, buddy. And even then, like I guess like I don't like seeing that. Like I almost don't like seeing that number that high, but I've been there now, like within the 235 to 245 range for probably about a year now. I would say I've stayed there, and so I'm starting to feel like really comfortable at that weight, and realizing that's like my walking around weight. And in the summer, I'll probably like start running more again. I'll drop to like 225-ish and hang around there for the summer. But like in the winter, I like to focus on lifting, as you can see, and trying to get the weights up, and the typical summer body bullshit that I get to experience now and be like, oh, I'm going for a summer body. Like that's cool for me. That's stuff that I never.
Yeah.
There's so much that I've experienced just from like look where I'm at. Like the fact that I'm on the Sevon podcast right now, telling my story is a dream for me. Like it's something like I started like listening to you guys every single day, and like I reached out to you one time, and like
that's about a year ago when we first ran into each other, right? On Instagram.
Yeah, because only reason I reached out is because a year ago in March I went to my L1, and on the way there I was in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half away from us, and it was with the great James Hobart.
Oh, awesome!
And on the way up there, I'm listening to you, Matt, and
Josh.
Wow, Josh, I forgot. I'm sorry, buddy. And you said something about Hobart, and I'm like, oh shit, like he knows Hobart. I was like, I'm gonna message him and say. And I think I guess you just clicked on my profile and you said, I forget how it went, and you just saw, I let you know I was doing my L1 and my journey. And from then on, I started sending you like updates of how I'm doing when I got my first baller muscle up. And
yeah, I appreciate all that. I love following this progress.
Like that. Like I said, at one point, like you made me feel like you were so proud of me. I feel like I was telling your friends. So like it was cool. And like here I am now meeting you and talking to you. And then like it's surreal. It's surreal for me. I'm telling my story, and it's all because I finally stopped being a lazy piece of shit and wanted more for myself. And unfortunately, this is going to sound harsh, but being fat comes down to being lazy. And there is no, like, I understand there's some conditions out there, thyroids and stuff like that's uncontrollable. But for the most part, if you're fat, you're lazy. I mean, it's lazy. You eat bad. You don't want to take the time to make your meal. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's making the right choices. And I don't say that to be a prick. I just say that because like so many people.
No, everyone knows it. Because even skinny people know when they're lazy. Like everyone knows when they're lazy. It's 10 o'clock at night. You haven't worked out. You got an assault bike in the garage, or you don't have anything to do in the morning, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and you know that you need to go out and walk 5 miles. And but instead you eat ice cream and you watch TV and you go to bed. No, it's not fucking acceptable. You're a fucking human being. You're not a fucking TV watcher. Don't put the fucking ice cream down. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night. Put on your fucking headlamp and go for a fucking walk for an hour. Put in an audiobook. You will hunt. Everyone knows you'll feel better. You'll come home from your hour walk. You'll get in the shower and you'll go to bed, and you'll be so proud of yourself. You'll feel better. You'll be better. Yeah, you made the wrong fucking choice.
Exactly.
You made the fucking wrong choice.
Making choices, being accountable for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta be accountable.
Don't get me wrong. There's times when I just want to sit there and wake up and not do shit. But then I'm like that's a choice that Fat Jake would make. You know what I mean? That's the choice that got you where you were. And could you afford to take a day off? Fuck yeah. Like now, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to work out 7 days a week, which like I try not to, but I'm just like I don't recommend that. But like I find myself at RDT 7 days a week, whether I'm working out or not, because I'm safe here. You know what I mean? I'm around a bunch of people that aren't going to push me to do things I don't want to do. They're not going to say, why aren't you having that drink? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a big reason why Kylie doesn't give a shit that I come here. Like, she could have a boyfriend that gets off work and goes to the bar for 3 hours. And what kind of shenanigans do you get, doing that?
Yeah.
No, you bring up a really good point. If you're at the bar and you've had 3 beers and you're done, you'll always still have a 4th and a 5th. If you hang out at the gym and you're done working out and you've been there an extra hour, next thing you'll know, you'll be over there and be like, I wonder how long I can hang for. And instead of having 3 extra beers, you'll do 6 hangs for 45 seconds each. And you'll be like, you would have never done that if you weren't in that environment. It wasn't necessary, but you just did it because you were bored. And the same reason why you would drink a beer if you're bored, or if you were at home, you'd eaten a bag of donuts if you were bored. Yeah.
I was at home sitting on the couch. Like, what would I have been picking on? What have I been doing? It'd be simple as like me sitting next to Dave on the assault bike while I'm literally spinning it doing 10 RPMs, but I'm moving my body. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
sometimes people just overthink it too. And one of the things that we have at the gym that we try to tell people is we say, hey, no judgment, just get yourself here and do the warm up. And if you decide, hey, today's not the day, I'm not feeling it, and you do the warm up and you just leave, no one's going to stop you. We'll even clean up your equipment, everything else. And then what ends up happening is just like you guys are saying, you do the warm up, you start moving, you feel better, and you're like, screw it, I'm already here, I'll do the workout.
And then maybe you go to barbelljobs.com and get a job at that gym and work there.
That's what I did after I got my L1. Luckily, RDT was hiring, so I went to Barbell Jobs. No, yeah.
You're a good dude. You're a good dude. I also want to say one more thing. I this is the third show in a row that I'm drinking this. Am I gonna say it right?
Mm-hmm.
Page Street coffee.
That your new guy?
I don't know if it's my new guy, but it's like they sent me a bunch of coffee and I'm drinking it and I like it. Like,
is it good?
Yeah, it's fucking great. And I feel really bad saying this. The beans look exactly like the Good Dude's beans. They're like those little tiny brown ones.
You're gonna hear from Josh now.
And this dude who I get the coffee from, he roasts it himself. He orders the beans and then takes them over to like a co-op roastery in New York City. The guy actually lives in Jersey. You live in Jersey, right?
Yeah, South Jersey.
Page Street. I think it's Page Street. Paper Street? Page Street.
Paper Street, but all out.
When you guys start talking your coffee, I'm always impressed because I'm just still like
this is the guy. This is the guy who sent it to me. He corrected me. Paper Street. Damn, when am I going to get it right? This dude's a really cool dude. I'm like, hey, if Good Dudes is better, like I won't be able to like talk up your coffee. He's like, I don't even care. I just want to support the podcast. I was like, what?
That's awesome.
And it actually is.
It's because you're doing good, Savon, man. You're spreading good messages, and I definitely appreciate that. It's definitely.
What about how harsh? What about my mom? So I have some friends who are obese.
See,
and my mom will say to me, "I can't believe they're still friends with you." I go, "Why?" She's like, "You're so harsh."
Be harsh, like.
But I'm like, I really. So here's one of the issues where I struggle a little bit. I don't care. I really don't care that someone is obese. Like, I don't care, like in the sense, like I don't find it unattractive. It doesn't bother me. I know that if I'm sitting next to someone who's on a plane that's obese, I don't mind the touch. Like,
be their friends.
Yes. I'm like, I'll hug the shit out of an obese person. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
isn't it crazy that you get bitched at because you care about them though? People that you don't even know.
This is what started happening that was weird. So around the pandemic, people started saying that when I start seeing, like, I know that if there weren't obese people here, there would be no pandemic. True. And I know that 100%. I'm 100% positive that we wouldn't, if there were no obese people, there would be no pandemic. And how do I know that? Because I see that 96% of the people who died have had 4 or more comorbidities, and I know that those comorbidities are caused by eating added sugar and refined carbohydrates.
Yeah, I picked a hell of a time to get in shape, by the way, with that.
I know, you're stoked. How stressful would it be if you're fucking 200 over now? You're stressed.
I told everyone, I was like, I can't imagine if I was still 400 pounds, I'd be the poster child of dying at a young. They've been posting me because a healthy 30-year-old dies of. No, I wasn't healthy. I was fat as shit.
So I'm so tired of them saying that it's old people or that we have to worry about. Like, I just want to be like, I mean, you've seen them. You've seen like the health ministers of Ireland and those health ministers who are like 400 pounds and they're like mandatory vaccines. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I don't know if you saw recently the White House, a fucking reporter asked that redheaded lady who speaks for Joe Biden, Pajaki, they asked her, hey, other countries are now pushing healthy eating and exercise. Are we going to do that? And she's like, no, we know that the primary way of fighting this thing is through masks and vaccines. That's a lot. That's a fucking lie.
Bullshit.
And so at that point, I'm not doing it to pick on people. I'm doing it because it's the truth. If you are obese, then you're going to manifest. You're the reason why we're in this situation. Well, you're not the reason we're in this situation, but someone who's obese needs just like there were finally black people who had enough of the BLM thing, and they're like, listen, motherfuckers, like I don't like I recognize as a black person that there might be racism, but fighting racism with racism is not going to cure this thing. I just feel like that there needs to be someone from the obese community who speaks up in that same way, and is like, look, we know that this, like, we know this is only killing people who fucking are addicted to refined carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it's a trip. I just feel like sometimes I like when my mom says that, I'm like, I don't want to be mean to anyone. I mean, I want to be mean to some people, but I don't want to be mean to anyone because they're obese. I don't care.
That's like, you know,
I know no one wants to be obese.
Yeah, exactly. And the only person that could do anything about it is that person. And like I think someone just said in the comments, there's a difference between being harsh and being mean and being a bully. Yeah, like if you're going up to someone, hey, fat ass, like you're just a piece of shit, blah, 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 like talking to them like that. Yeah, that's completely different. We're not talking like that. Like the more like what you can encourage people is like, especially if you go to CrossFit and you have friends that are like, hey man, just come try out a class with me. Just try out a class. And if they don't, they don't. But by saying that and encouraging people to come to the class, like they obviously know they're out of weight, out of shape. You know what I mean? And they're going to give you every excuse under the sun. But keep on going, keep on like nudging them, give them that nudge. And once in a while, have that talk like, hey, buddy, just so you know, I read this article and like that stuff you're eating is like you're killing yourself. Like let people know that. That's what being harsh is good. You know what I mean? Because
yes. If I do know, I do. I think of it like this too. If I was running towards and I use this example all the time. If I was running towards a cliff and I didn't see that it was a cliff and I was going to die, I would want someone to like, I would want someone to like, hey, you dumb fuck, like just scream at me and I could stop. And there's some people who will be like, how dare you swear at me? But I'm not like that. I'm the kind of person who would say, what? And then they would say, there's a cliff, you almost died. And I would say, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all you would get from me. Thank you. I'm so like, when I'm driving and my wife's like, watch out for that pedestrian. Like, even if I saw them, I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm not the kind of person who's like, don't tell me how to drive. Like, so that's how I treat people. And I see that's exactly what's happening. Our whole society, like a huge chunk of our society is about to run off a cliff.
If they haven't already.
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna get really, really bad here in a minute.
Yeah.
Like in our lifetime, I think we're gonna see something really catastrophic happen. Because of just strictly because of diet. I think we're gonna see something really, really, really.
Well, do you ever see like that article that talked about too, like how much the testosterone has dropped in the last amount of years because of all the sugar that's been eaten and like.
Dude, there's you can look up that kids who are super duper obese, like if you make your kid obese, that's another crazy thing that it's crazy that parents let their little kids get obese, but the boys testicles and penises won't drop if you feed them too much sugar at a young age, and it's unrecoverable. They never recover from that. And it's because their parents poison them.
It's sad.
It's because their parents poison them. And it's like, I'm like someone has to be like raise their hand and be like, oh, excuse me over here. You're poisoning your kid.
How much? And like, this is just me like asking, how much of you think is just so much lack of knowledge and like,
yes,
a big portion of it. No, I think a big portion of it is education. I mean, we live in this circle of, I mean, this is our life. This is the education that we're around all the time. And if you go outside of it to some of these other communities, they don't.
So many parents can't say no. I see such bad parenting.
Yeah, I
see so much bad parenting. Even from like the greatest parents, I see so much fucking bad parenting. Just letting kids walk all over. Like,
man, if they saw on the other side of it, and I'll give this as a quick little testimony to anybody listening. My aunt ignored her health for a very long time, and
your aunt?
My aunt, and she hid it from all of us, and to the point where her legs started to swell so much she had blisters that started to burst and everything else. And finally, it came to the surface of her ignoring her health. And now she's on dialysis, and she got into a state where she's healthier, to where she's more clear-minded. And it's actually really sad, because every time we call her, we have a check-in with her, and we have to advocate for her and different stuff with surgeries and stuff. Every single phone call ends with her crying.
Oh man.
And it's really hard, and it's hard on all of us. And it would have been easier to be hard on her back then and forced ourselves into that than it is now, because now she's, like I said, she's clear-headed. And when we call her on her birthday or anything, and she's trying to hide it, you could hear her trying to hide it on the phone and stuff. And it's really tough.
And I get that. And like, that's what's hard for me now, is like knowing what I went through, and especially seeing family members of mine that are still obese, and I do the same thing. I give them soft encouragements. Like, we run promos at the gym to send it over to them. Hey, we're doing this week, or hey, we're doing that. And a lot of times we'll get the whole I'm trying this thing at my house. Like, I started walking again, and that's all well and good. And I hope you stick to it. But a lot of us need a structure and someone to hold us accountable. And I think a lot of people are so scared to hold people accountable because they don't want to hurt their feelings. But would you rather, now I'm at the point, now, would you rather bury them or have them be mad at you for
yes.
Once they come to the
Yes.
moment of clarity, once they finally do get in shape, be like, hey, this is what he was doing for me.
Yeah. I would have rather had my
having those conversations with me couldn't have been easy for her. She was my cousin who loved me to death, but to be able to have that conversation, Jake, this is the stuff you're doing.
Hey, what's her name?
Danielle. She's the one that's on those pictures with the transformations and stuff like that. And
that's a special skill, by the way.
Yeah.
She is. You would love her, Savon. She is.
I do love her. I saw her picture. I love her.
If you she walks into these doors at the gym, and from the members to the children, everyone just swarms to her. She's flies on shit, because she is just that beam of happiness when she walks in. Happy to be here. Never the girl never stops. She does something she's always doing something for someone, always. And she's just that person that doesn't she'll take you being a little upset with her by if she feels she needs to encourage you in a certain way. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's a gift, and she's not squandering it. Yeah. It's a gift, and she's not squandering it.
She found CrossFit through, I don't know if she started before Dave, or she really got serious about it with Dave, about opening up their gym together and stuff like that. And are
they together? Are they a couple?
Yeah, they're married.
Okay.
They just got married in September.
Okay.
But yeah,
they
just are too you'd be proud, as passionate as you are about CrossFit, you'd be proud to come to this gym and see how the members and community is. And I firmly believe that. And they deserve all the recognition in the world for not just me, but I'm not.
What's the name? What's the name of the gym again?
RDT Fitness.
Oh, okay. You're wearing the shirt. Yep.
Yeah. Realized developed.
Are they not affiliated anymore?
No, they are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this
he's so Dave's been doing it for I think 12 or 13 years now, so he's definitely not too happy about the whole situation going on with CrossFit.
Oh, tell him to get another box of Kleenex. He got more coming.
One other thing I want to mention,
good. I was just about to kick you off. Go ahead.
That's fine. As far as these fad diets go, and I think one thing I want to tell people is that once you're never.
What do you mean? What's a fad diet? Tell me a fad diet. So
the Atkins, the keto, the carnivore, and I'm not. These are all good things. What they all do is put you in a calorie deficit, which is what we're all after. So that's why we lose weight. But the fact of the matter is the diet never ends. And that's what I think the problem with a lot of our thinking is. They think that we're going to get to this destination that says, I've made it, and now I can eat whatever the fuck I want or do whatever the hell I want. No, you learn, my biggest advice would be learn the things that you enjoy that are healthy for you. Learn how to make them taste good. Learn how to enjoy them on a daily basis, because once you get to your goal weight or whatever it is, the journey's just begun. That was losing weight for me was, now looking back, the easy part. Now it's the daily, ins and outs of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and learning to live with this body and what I can eat and how I can eat and the amount I need to work out. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
CrossFit's a lifestyle methodology.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's a community. It's a fitness program. It's this, that. Like, listen, it is a fucking, they call it a cult for a reason. It's a fucking religion. It is a lifestyle that you have to be super duper fierce and protect. And yeah, you're right. It's never fucking, especially as you get older. You don't process food as well, and you move slower. So it's like constantly tweaking, constantly.
It's only gonna get harder the longer you wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. I cannot imagine. I started when I was 34. How old were you when you started?
27. So I was very fortunate.
Yeah. I can't imagine people start. My mom didn't start till she was 69, and she's so stoked. And now she's been doing it over 10 years now, and or almost 10 years, and she'll cry when she tells me, oh my, like, and she's not really a crier. She'll be like, I can't believe that I found CrossFit. Like, I'm so happy you introduced me to it.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I'm starting to hear that from my mom. My mom's just turned 58, and so same thing. And I can't be like, that's the kind of stuff that brings me joy now. You know what I mean? Seeing other members and coaching them up. And we have a couple people here that are in their journey, and I love that I'm the one that like they get to come to and talk to about their weight and stuff like that, because they have someone relatable at the gym. You know what I mean? That they're going through that same process. So, yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on here. This has been awesome. This is telling my story has been great.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I need to have more people like you on. I need to have more people who've gone through.
I really do. Like,
yeah,
you do it. Like your podcast is amazing. The CrossFit, everything amazing. Every once in a while, having that random guy who does. I mean, am I the lowest Instagram followers you ever had? I
refuse to even look at how few Instagram followers you have.
I know. I was like, dude, this guy he must be desperate.
He's scraping the bottom of the bucket. Hey, you know what's crazy too, Jake, and I'd be curious how this affects you as you get older. Even when I do so I just started bench pressing again. I hadn't bench pressed in years, and I got my bench press
right now.
Yeah, and I got my bench press out, and I got a bench. And I got the bar, and I started doing, when I do cleans now, I do curls. I don't like pull. I'll sometimes just do curls instead of using the method that I was taught through CrossFit. Yeah. But I just mix it with CrossFit. It's still 10 calories on the assault bike, 5 bench press, 10 calories on the assault bike. And it's just, I'm so happy that you can just take this thing and just run with it to the day you die, just incorporating little pieces. You know what I mean? It's okay. You can go back to curls. You can go back to lateral raises. You'll always have.
It's evergreen.
Say that again.
It's evergreen.
Yeah. Just keep reinventing CrossFit for yourself. Mm-hmm. And to piggyback on what you said, yes, trying any diet is good.
Yeah.
Just try diets. It's your body. Experiment with it.
Find what you like, but at the same time, remember that once you're on this, you're on it. Like if you want to be successful, you're going to stay on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with changing the way your diet is, but it's not a diet, like you said, it's a lifestyle.
There's no end.
New lifestyle, and learn your calories, know what your intake is. I'm telling you, there's nothing that goes in my mouth at this point in my life that I don't know how much calories it is. You know what I mean? Just feel I have that mental. I don't track it. Some days I'll track just where I'm at just to see, but mentally I know every single day what amount is going into my body, just because I want to be continuing success.
My favorite food in the world is ice cream, and I probably haven't.
Me too.
And I haven't probably had ice cream in I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
And I used to eat it at least once a week, and I don't miss it.
Not at all.
Not at all. It's a trip. But I'm 49, and maybe my taste buds have changed too, but I don't miss it. Same with drinking alcohol. Like I don't like I go through long periods without drinking, and I don't miss alcohol either. But it's crazy because you'll tell some people, hey, you're gonna have to stop drinking, and they'll be like, I could never stop. Or like, hey, a time will come in your life where you can't eat ice cream, once a week. And they're like, no, I'll always do that. And I get that feeling, but Sevon, does that bottle breacher fit in your mouth? No, Jake, but your mom, this one still smells like your mom, buddy. This one right here. Gosh. This one. Let me see. Oh no, I'm sorry. This one does. Sorry, this one. Yeah, thank you.
That's fucker.
Jake, how dare you?
Dude, that's half the shows. These comments that I get to hear.
Oh my gosh.
I just loved your mom jokes. Someone wrote in the comments the other day, how embarrassing, a 50-year-old man still likes your mom jokes. Thank you, Jake. I love you too, buddy. Be embarrassed. Jake just does that on purpose just to help set me up. He threw me an alley-oop.
Yeah, I think a lot of the comments.
Thank you.
They poke, so you respond.
Yeah, they just want to see a 5'5" guy dunk. All right, Jake. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, Jake, no, thank you guys.
In all honesty, thank you for doing your part in the world. Everyone has to do their part. And, sometimes I'll celebrate people who had weight loss, and someone in the comments will say some dumb shit like, well, fuck that guy. That's what he should have done all along. No, actually, that person's actually doing everyone an enormous favor for making that journey and letting us witness it. It's like you really don't know the favor you've done for the world. For every time someone compliments you, there's 10 people talking behind your back, Jake, who are like, oh my God, that guy used to be fat. Yeah. And that's what you want to hear. Let's just pray people are pointing to you without you knowing 1,000 times a day.
Oh, they are.
Because it's the, in
the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, watch it.
You're the guy at Starbucks who they were making fun of for just sitting there with pencil and paper drawing all the time, and he finally sold one of his drawings for $1 million.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or who's the lady who wrote who's the lady who's like maybe a billionaire now, the author. They made all the movies.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling. She's fucking poor on welfare writing in a fucking cafe. Like, you're that guy.
Yep.
You're the guy that did something that, And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and thanks for letting me put it out there. This was awesome.
Yeah, great stuff.
The Liver King would say ice cream is not a food. Okay, fair enough.
Dude, that guy is fucking awesome, isn't he?
Yeah.
I love him. I want him to cuddle me. I